In many respects, we're seeing phenomenal numbers in terms of the business we do with other countries and the business we do within our own country. I mean, really phenomenal numbers. We'll be announcing a new statistician sometime over the next 3-4 days. We had no confidence. I mean, the numbers were ridiculous, what she announced, but that was just one negative number. All of the numbers seem to be great. And so we'll see how that comes out. And if you remember, just before the election, this woman came out with these phenomenal numbers on Biden's economy. Phenomenal numbers. And then right after the election, they announced that those numbers were wrong. And that's what they did the other day. So it's a scam, in my opinion. My opinion is it's just additional scam.
On Russia, Mr. President.
Donald Trump fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics just because he didn't like a recent jobs report. This raises concerns about trust in future data, which is key for economic decisions. The report he's upset about was revised months before the election, but Trump is now twisting the timeline. Ironically, he once praised the same official's data. Now he calls it fake, only because it doesn't suit his narrative. Even conservative outlets like the Wall Street Journal are calling this out. He's also repeating false claims about drug prices. We'll break that down next. Like, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming.
Mr. President, what advice do you have for Republicans on Capitol Hill heading into midterms? What do they need to do? What can they do to, hold?
Well, one of the things they're going to be talking about pretty soon are the tremendous drop in drug prices. We've cut drug prices by 1,200, 1,300, 1,400, 1,500%. I don't mean 50%. I mean 1,400, 1,500%. Because we're going favored nations. We want the same price as Europe gets. We want the same price as other country gets. And over the years, 25, 30 years ago, it started where they were charging us much more. And I put an end to it, with the letter that you saw last week. So I think that's going to be a point. I don't know how anybody could win an election if they're on the other side of that issue. So we'll be dropping drug prices. It'll start over the next 2 to 3 months by 1,200, 1,300, and even 1,400% and 500%, but not just 50% or 25%, which normally would be a lot, because the rest of the world pays much less for the identical drug, and we're going to be paying the same thing. We're going to have a favored nations. We will pay as low as the lowest nation in the world.
Let's break down the basic math behind this claim, because even if you're not a math expert, some things simply don't add up. In any scenario, you can only reduce a price by 100%, which would make an item free. Claiming a reduction of 1,000% or 1,500% would imply that consumers are essentially being paid to purchase the item, a notion that just isn't feasible for pharmaceutical companies. When such statements are made, it raises real questions about their validity. It's hard not to wonder if the numbers are being misrepresented, or if there's a misunderstanding on basic arithmetic principles. Furthermore, a recent public letter has been issued that calls for more aggressive measures on drug pricing, a move that critics argue is more about political posturing than actual policy. If a public official truly intended to influence drug prices through state power, one would expect a coordinated effort with Congress and the Senate to formalize any such policy. Instead, what we're seeing appears to be a series of statements meant to signal intent rather than deliver substantive change. And while these claims may resonate with certain audiences, they simply do not hold up under logical scrutiny. Now let's take a look at another clip that delves even deeper into this issue.
When will you swear in Janine Piro to be the
I will happily swear in Janine Piro, who's going to be fantastic at what she does in D.C. Over the next very short period of time. I think she's going to be fantastic. Don't forget, Janine Piro was a great judge and a great prosecutor. And because she was so good, I was there. She was an amazing prosecutor and judge. And because she was so good, they drafted her into show business. and she did fantastic. You know, The Five was the #1 show, et cetera, et cetera. Janine Piro was also really good at that, but her real love is exactly what she's doing, and that's what made her such a success in show business. So Janine Piro is going to be amazing, and I'll swear her in as soon as we can swear her in. We need her. She's going to be amazing.
Mr. President, are you happy with how the
We'll likely cover this in more detail in a separate video, but here's a quick update. Former Fox News host Judge Janine Piro, yes, the same figure known for her frequent clashes with co-host Jessica Tarloff on The Five, has now officially been confirmed by the Republican majority as the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. That's right, this is not an interim appointment. She now holds one of the most powerful federal prosecutorial roles in the country. This development is especially significant considering her history. Piro has previously expressed support for election-related conspiracy theories and has made numerous controversial statements regarding the 2020 election. Despite this, she now represents the federal government in one of its most important legal jurisdictions. We have more clips to explore that tie into this story, but we'll save those for another video. In the meantime, here's Donald Trump discussing his latest ambitious plan: a proposal to build a new ballroom on the White House lawn.
happy with how the Rose Garden turned out, and we have some kind of event for the Rose Garden. Are you happy with how it turned out?
Yeah, we're getting great reviews on the Rose Garden, and we had to do it. As an example, when we had a press conference, you'd see...
It appears that former President Donald Trump is now pursuing a highly unusual project on the White House grounds. Plans for a lavish ballroom reportedly to be constructed on the South Lawn. While the final location is still uncertain, perhaps even the Rose Garden, what's clear is that this proposed addition carries a massive price tag and has already drawn significant attention. There are also reports that this project could disrupt historic landscaping, echoing previous changes like those made to the Rose Garden during his last term. The ballroom, which Trump claims will be funded by private donors, raises questions about whether public funds might ultimately be used instead, something we've seen in past situations. This initiative seems to reflect Trump's well-documented taste for luxury, with emphasis on aesthetic upgrades and large-scale personal branding. And right after discussing this proposal, Trump was asked about one of his most vocal supporters outside of the White House, MAGA influencer Laura Loomer.
What is your relationship with Laura Loomer? What kind of influence with Laura Loomer? What kind of influence does she have
I
in the
think
White
she's
House?
very nice. I mean, I know she's known as a radical right, but I think Laura Loomer is a very nice person. I've known her for a long time, and, you know, personally, I think she's a patriot, and she gets excited because of the fact that she's a patriot, and she doesn't like things going on that she thinks are bad for the country. I like her. Okay?
President, actress Sydney Sweeney.
Let's talk briefly about Laura Loomer, a controversial figure now deeply embedded in Donald Trump's inner circle. Known for promoting conspiracies and making divisive remarks, Loomer has gained major influence during the 2024 campaign, even flying with Trump on multiple occasions. She's played a role in staffing decisions and is now a key connection between Trump and parts of his base. Despite the backlash, Trump continues to support her, a sign of how deeply aligned he is with his most extreme allies. That's all for now. Let us know what you think in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.